All right, music fans, welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Going to be talking about the Eagles and Steely Dan in this video. So, two legendary bands. Before I do that, here is Kinfo. If you're a fan of the Eagles or Alabama or Charlie Daniels, Kinfo. Sunny and 72 is their big hit song off of this. This EP is called Cheaper Than the Truth. and had these guys on. Actually did an interview with this band, and they're just good guys. I mean, if you're down in Texas and you have a chance to go see Kinfo, I would definitely do it. Sunny and 72 was number one on Texas radio when I had them on, and the song is still doing quite well. Charlie Daniels, you list one of your influences as Charlie Daniels, and I'm just like, okay, sign me up. Man, the world misses Charlie Daniels, a guy who spoke truth and common sense and loved what he did, and a total legend, great musician, and a great spokesperson for a number of different causes, including the cause of Christ. So yeah, definitely miss Charlie Daniels. If you're an Eagles fan, you might be missing them soon. I've noticed that both Steely Dan and the Eagles have no concert dates scheduled, no summer tour. So I'm thinking both bands took the summer off. They're both fronted by a guy named Don or Donald, depending on, your perspective on it. You got Don Henley, and then you've got Donald Fagen. And in recent years, people have started to be a little concerned more about Donald Fagen and his ability to sing and sound like he used to. Both of these guys in their 70s, both of them a little past their prime. I would say Fagen is probably a little more past his prime than Don Henley is right now. But again, I don't hear too many people complaining when they go to see the Eagles that, Don Henley isn't pulling his weight vocally. You really need both of those two guys to continue for either one of those bands to keep going. Of course, the Eagles were celebrating Hotel California for 2 years. I think the anniversary was 45th anniversary was in 2022. And they may have started that even earlier. I can't remember, but they were saying, hey, it's the big anniversary of Hotel California, so we're going to be performing it in its entirety. And they even brought in a full orchestra, which is really effective for songs like Wasted Time and The Last Resort. The entire album, by the way, had little orchestration or orchestral movements here and there. So that was pretty smart, and they kept it going for a long time. They kept adding shows, and those shows were getting more and more expensive. I mean, if you want to see what's left of Steely Dan or the Eagles, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. But you can't even do that this summer. People are telling me it's getting very hard to purchase insurance if you're going out on the road and you're a concert act and you want to make sure that everybody is safe at the show and nobody is liable for any illnesses that might be a result of, getting together in large groups of people, or people are no longer social distancing. Oh, the horrors. And people are going out there and breathing and so forth. And that is a bit risky. It's going to be risky for the foreseeable future, apparently. I mean, if I were a betting man, I would say it's highly likely that you'll see the Eagles again, and slightly less likely that Steely Dan will be out there again. That's just my opinion. By the way, there is a great Steely Dan tribute band out there called Stealing Dan. Stealing Dan, check them out. As far as Eagles tribute bands go, most of them are pretty mediocre. I have a real problem when you don't have anyone who sounds like Don or Glenn. In the case of the current Eagles lineup, nobody sounds like Glenn, which ticks me off. They did have Deacon Fry for a while, and he sort of sounded like his dad, but again, I haven't heard any Eagles tribute band that has a dead ringer singer who can emulate either one of those two guys, you know. And then never mind, you've got to deal with Joe Walsh and Randy Meisner. You might have a few people that sound like Tim Schmidt out there, but that's only going to be good for one or two songs during the set at the most. So again, if you're a fan of these bands, save your money because you may get to see them again, but it wouldn't shock me if the touring days of both Steely Dan and the Eagles were kind of done. It's hard to imagine the Eagles not touring anymore, but it's plausible, you know. Next year, technically, I think you'll be celebrating how many years? Like 45 years of the long run. I mean, they could do a celebration for that album, even though for me, it was disappointing compared to Hotel California. I know over the years, you know, there's only so much of that music out there. And the Eagles, you know, recorded one other full-length album after that. They had Hell Freezes Over. But then you had The Long Road out of the Walmart checkout counter, because that's where they used to have the album if you wanted to purchase a copy of it back in, like, I don't know, 2007 or 2008, around that time frame. Not a horrible album, but certainly we waited a long time to get new music from the Eagles, and I think Steely Dan has done a better job, or they did a better job over the years putting out quality, newer stuff, but pretty much everybody ignored Steely Dan when they came out with new material, which is sad. There is a radio station out there, by the way, that plays new stuff by classic artists. I just figured I'd give them a plug since I'm talking about both the Eagles and Steely Dan. That radio station is Modern Retro Radio. That's modernretrofm.com if you want to go and look them up. In any event, that's my video. Before I go, here is Kin Fo. I meant to rhyme like that because I'm really cool. Cheaper Than the Truth. This is an EP. They put it out there. Go check out their website. It is kinfo.com. Really a cool bunch of guys. And I bet, you know, if you go see them play a gig somewhere in Texas, you'll have a good time. Honest musicians playing music the old-fashioned way. In other words, they're actually playing it. So that's a huge bonus right there. All right, people, again, if you can support me over on Patreon, I really appreciate that. Subscribe to the videos. Hit the bell if you want a notification. You may not get a notification. That's what I've been told. But persist and maybe, set a reminder or something. I don't know what else you can do. Right now, we're looking at 1 or 2 out of every 67 people who are subscribed currently watching these videos. So I could use your help and support. Again, thanks, and I will see you soon.